Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the ASUS ROG Dream League Season 3. My name's ODPixel. I'm here today joined as always by the wonderful Draskell. We've got two best of threes here for you today. The first one is Burden United up against Yellow Submarine and the draft, it has begun. So let's get ourselves over to the pick and bans and Draskell, it looks like 6.83 to me.
It really does. If you look at Burden United's draft, so far they've banned out Sniper and Spearbreaker, two heroes that we know for a fact Come With Me hates. So he's like, I don't want to play against these. Mynosh just bans them out, and they get their hands on a Wisp, a hero that I really would not want to give to Burden United, given the fact that it's one of...
Here comes the Tiny, I mean...
It could be Tiny because they already banned out Troll, so Sing's not going to get to play as Troll Warlord for once.
Sing Tiny, I'd be surprised. Unless they want to play the Sing PL, of course, as we were saying, normally gets banned out against them. This time they've not banned that out, Yellow Submarine, so I'd be very surprised. But they have prepared
very well for it by taking Shadow Fiend and Axe. Both heroes are great against PL, at least at clearing illusions and having a hero who can guaranteed get initiation. If you blink and you call on top of the PL, and the Shadow Fiend even has like a dagger to follow up, it could just be a guaranteed kill.
Oh, there we go.
But they go with the Tiny anyway.
They go with the Tiny. If you let them have IO Tiny, they're going to take it, especially with the first pick IO. So now Yellow Submarine in a little bit of a bad place. We saw the power of Sing Tiny. I can't remember who were they playing against. They went the old IO Tiny mid and absolutely destroyed.
They went Blink, phase Blink on the Tiny, and he just like smashed the Troll like super hard. I don't remember what team they were playing against when they did that, but it was so one-sided that I think the game ended in roughly 21 to 25 minutes.
It was a quick game. It was a very, very quick game. We'll see if they're able to do the same thing here. So looking at the rest of the bans, we have the Tree banned out. One of those heroes who, I guess if you're running an IO Tiny combination where you're going to be looking for the relocates, Tree, and he's going to be able to help out globally, you know, just nullify some of the burst damage as you come in.
Not just that, but you don't want to play into Overgrowth as a hero who buys a BKB to be able to just go ham, because normally you relocate in, you either preemptively pop your BKB or you do it right as you get there. And if you're playing against Tree, you can just get Overgrowthed and then you can't do anything. And then it makes you buy Manta on top of BKB, which is two relatively defensive items. And on Tiny, it can work, but it's nice just to have the freedom to itemize the way that you want, just to do sheer damage output, or maybe you want to buy like another tanky item instead of a Manta or instead of a BKB. So I think that banning that was really nice. And plus, Disruptor sends the hero back, and then all of a sudden you're either left with a Wisp alone, or the Tiny is alone with no Wisp, and we all know that doesn't end well for either hero involved. So really like the bans here from Bird United. They're going all out aggression. So this is Storm, Tiny, Wisp against what Yellow Submarine have. Now granted, Witch Doctor is great against Wisp, so is Lion, so is Axe. They have a lot of ways to counter the relocate initiation. Just going to be down to if Bird United can find the openings they're looking for and how well the laning phase goes for them. Because right now, I think that Yellow Submarine, after seeing a Wisp, you kind of have to assume it's going to be a dual lane mid. At least the way that we've been seeing it played.
They did ban out the Quap straight away after the Tiny. Maybe possibly worried about the Quap off lane, but I don't know. It's interesting to see them ban that in that situation. Now with the Storm, I think, as you said, we've pretty much seen Burden United run it where they do the Storm on his own. I can't remember, did they leave him on his own in the safe lane and run an aggressive dual lane?
Plays it, yeah.
Yeah, just on his own, and they get two heroes in the off lane.
It's really strong because you're guaranteeing that two of your cores are going to be farming. If they put the Shadow Fiend mid with another hero, it's going to be, I think, probably slightly favored for the SF +1 lane, just because Wisp can't harass on his own, and if it's a Tiny, then he's obviously melee. Even though he'll have a lot of mana, I don't really think he's going to be totally free farming, but we'll see how they want to cope with that. As it stands right now, they could put Axe in the off lane, or they could go a little bit greedier, pick another core, or an off lane rather, and then try to have like a safe lane farmer, but I feel like it's just going to be off lane Axe.
It certainly seems to feel like that's so far in the draft. And now with the final ban, what are Burden United missing? Who do they normally like to run with the Venge in this kind of draft? I'm trying to think back what kind of heroes we could expect to see from them. I mean, we know that, of course, Paris does play a very good Clockwork if they wanted to put Venge in the safe lane with Storm.
Clock is amazing against some of these heroes. For instance, if you catch the Witch Doctor, and you already have such great reach. So you have a Storm who can catch him, you can relocate on him, and you have a Hook on top of that. And Hook also goes through BKBs, so you can just stun him even if he has BKB and his ulti out. I'm not even expecting him to get that level of farm just because of the kind of drafts that Burden United have. I mean, you don't want to let Shadow Fiend free farm, and you kind of want to fight with the heroes that Burden United have. And since they have Venge and Tiny, the late game scaling is ridiculous. Tiny is almost all base damage, right? So if you have your Vengeance Aura on top of that, you're looking with a decent inventory like 400 or 500 damage a hit. And that's with Aghanims as well. So you're going to not only lose buildings fast, but he doesn't really care about BKB buyers during the late game.
I mean, if you are the Yellow Submarine and you're anticipating this IO Tiny mid, what do you do about that? Do you just send the Shadow Fiend on his own, or do you think ideally you do really need to be sending someone else into that dual lane?
Well, you could put Shadow Fiend in the safe lane and then put Axe off lane, have a support bottom, and then pick another hero who maybe could farm mid. It could be any hero that's ranged, honestly, because if you put Witch Doctor plus another range, it's really easy. But no, they're going to go super greed. All right, so they're just going to pick up an AM. They're just assuming that their off lane isn't going to be heavily contested. So they take out Juggernaut on the side of Burden United because Juggernaut Omni is a great way of dealing with the relocate again. And if you get lucky bounces, you can just straight up kill the Wisp, which is really nice. So they take that out. And AM is nice against the Storm during the late game, but he's one of those heroes that if Burden United gets ahead, he's not going to be able to contribute to team fights. Like he's going to be like, oh crap, I can't fight because, you know, I'm against a Wisp Tiny, a Storm who can initiate, Avenge Stun, minus armor on top of that. So Burden United could still potentially go for the clock, but I don't feel like it's as good as it was before. Like against a Blinking Core, okay, they are still going to get it, but AM doesn't really care about clock at all. I think this is solely just an answer to heroes like Lion and Witch Doctor, having that offlaner who can secure your solo kills for you.
Indeed, certainly seems to be that way. And talking about the anti-mage, you picked it up against a Tiny and an IO. I'd imagine Burden United, they're going to look to get some very aggressive warding down into the enemy jungle. And then it's going to be very hard for anti-mage to have that period where he just farms. Because I imagine Burden United, with the Storm, Clock, Tiny and IO combo, that's a lot of gank-heavy heroes that are going to be looking to shut down the AM early on.
That's the problem that the supports are going to have, is you have a Witch Doctor and a Lion. Once Sakshka hits 6, it's a free kill if you get hookshot and there's not somebody else around. And that's the biggest problem with doing a 2-2-1 against Clock. If you want that Shadow Fiend to be safe, you put another hero mid and you let him get his souls up and then you stack for him and he raises to get like the EXP deficit that he will have had from having to dual lane mid, and he can recover nicely that way. But we'll see how they choose to do this. If they put both supports bottom, they can shut down Sakshka's early game and make sure that the AM in a 1v1, if he has like Tread's Ring of Health, for example, and he's got a couple points into mana break, you can deal with the clock on your own because you just blink in and you mana burn him, and then he can't cog you and be annoying. And in that sense, if you get ahead, you can stay ahead. But during the early game, it could be a bit harder. And as it looks right now, he's not even close to bottom. He's actually top. So we'll see if they want to just go to the safe lane of Burden United.
It's a little bit interesting. We're into the game there. Let's introduce the teams. It's Burden United, of course, up against Yellow Submarine. On the side of the dial, we've got Paris on that off-lane Clockwork. Over in the safe lane tri-lane, we're going to have Come With Me on the support Vengeful Spirit. It will be Necroman on that safe lane Storm. And, of course, Minus on the IO and Sing Sing on the Tiny in the mid lane. And I'm here with Draskell. And Draskell, what's going on the Radiant? And what are we seeing in terms of lanes?
All right, so we got this AM. He's going to be played by Miposhka. He's going to be up towards this top lane. Next up, we're going to have Shadow Fiend. He's going to be played by Barash. And it looks like right now he's actually going to be solo. Towards the bottom, near the rune spot first, we got PSM. Saw him stand in the other day. He's going to be playing on that Witch Doctor. We got Fervian. He's playing on the Lion. And then finally, we're going to have Dale. He's playing on the Axe.
Okay, so do you imagine, are they going to leave it like this so the AM's on his own? Or will they rotate the supports up to the top lane?
Well, it could be a different lane anticipation from the side of Yellow Submarine. They could be thinking that, for example, Burden United could be sending more than one person to the off lane, and that way you can. And we've also seen Axe versus Clockwork a lot here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague, and it's a matchup that the Axe feels relatively comfortable with, and it's worked out very well in a lot of cases. So it is going to be the dual lane mid from both sides. We kind of expected this, at least from the get-go, because if the Shadow Fiend gets ahead in souls, then he can just freely farm. There's no way that these heroes are ever going to be able to deal with him at all. And a Witch Doctor is amazing lane harass. Wisp doesn't have any base armor whatsoever, hits for 47 damage. Witch Doctor hits for almost 60. So the damage discrepancy is huge. PSM has 1 armor, Wisp has 0. Pretty easy lane for Yellow Submarine early on.
Right, we'll see if they're able to make the most of that situation. And yes, obviously putting the anti-mage top, you're trying to avoid kind of the confrontation with the Clockwork. In terms of lane, he's having to deal with a Vengeful Spirit and a Storm. I mean, as a pair, they shouldn't be able to catch him out, should they?
The AM will be fine. He won't die. He's obviously not going to get a lot of farm, but what I assume is going to happen is Dale's going to farm until he has his Tranquil's Blink, and then he's going to start rotating, and they'll just let the AM take up the bottom lane farm while the Axe and the other heroes in the team are creating space. It could work really well, or it could backfire if the middle lane goes badly for the side of Yellow Submarine. If anybody dies on that side of the lane and the Tiny gets over-leveled, both these heroes become food, and then what happens is the AM doesn't have any space because this Axe might be forced to do something a little bit earlier. And the AM will literally do nothing for like 20 minutes in this game. So it's a risky play from Yellow Submarine, but if the early game goes well and the Axe is able to get a blink and have some nice plays, it could work out.
And they're looking to make a play at the moment around the mid lane. We see PSM on the Witch Doctor, Fervian on the line, both smoked up. Just checking to see if the IO does head for that 2-minute rune. And, well, of course, Minut's with the bottle. Only one charge. May look to do so indeed. Witch Doctor takes it. They decide to just grab it. There is no dire vision across that rune spot, though. So they could still make something happen here with the smoke. They're wrapping around towards the mid lane. The smoke's actually run out. But maybe they could still try and catch out Minuts. Minuts and Sing Sing keeping themselves fairly back with the creep wave. It would be a hard one. And what's the plan here with PSM and Fervian?
I think finding any kill is going to be nice for them, just in the sense that, again, if they can have middle lane go well, an under-leveled Tiny versus a Shadow Fiend who's going to be able to freely farm. If the SF goes mech, for example, is bottom lane, we're going to see a little bit of an engagement here.
Yeah, Dale having a little bit of fun as Minuts comes in with the haste rune, and Paris trying to get some damage down with the assault. But Axe is going to be fine, and Io's not going to be able to make anything happen this time. Mid lane, though, Sing Sing. This could very well be first blood. They've got the Hex. In comes the raised burst damage, and there we go. First blood. You talked about it, Draskell. And that does go to the Shadow Fiend as well, that gold.
It's a cool part about having your Axe versus Clock matchup is the Axe doesn't need help. A lot of melee heroes, AM for example, again, if he doesn't get ahead in the laning phase, he could just suffer. But if you put the Axe in the safe lane, the Clockwork has no real place to go, and that leaves both of your supports free to roam on whatever lane they need to. And if you look at what Burn United have, it's not like Storm is a great hero to be able to walk around before he hits level 6 and try to contribute in any meaningful way. And if the Venge leaves top, the AM will probably be able to get a little bit of farm against Necroman. At the very least, again, he's not going to die. So, although he did get his salve knocked off there, which is rather unfortunate.
Indeed, obviously looking at the CS so far, Anti-Mage hasn't really found much at all, as you were saying. Just finding the XP for the time being, waiting for that opening where he's going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive with his farming. The Storm Spirit on the side of Burn United in that safe lane is having a great time. 20 last hits, 11 denies. And in the mid lane, Shadow Fiend really breaking apart from the Tiny. Bottom lane, Dale goes in, he finds the clock, and 2-0 on the board for Yellow Submarine. It's a really good start for them.
This is exactly what the AM needs too. If you look at him right now, he's only got 4 CS expected to be in the offlane. He's almost level 4. The more that his team does, the easier his recovery is going to be. The Axe getting a solo kill on a Clockwork, first off, should never happen. Like, the only thing I can assume is that he goes for CS and expects not to get spawned on top, though.
Indeed, top lane, the Magic Missile and the Wave of Terror came through, and they're one hit away from bringing down the Anti-Mage. But of course, with that blink, he is going to be A-OK for the time being. Mid lane, Sing Sing getting fairly low as the bouncers come through. They're not going to be able to bounce yet again, and Minuts will be able to top him up with the bottle. But all in all, Yellow Submarine definitely kind of stepping up the pressure, making it a little bit harder for Burden United to find the farm. And at the moment, their real saving grace is this fact that Necroman on the Storm, he's having a pretty good game.
He's got the highest CS. He's 27-12, so he is doing work in terms of overall farm. But this is also expected.
Yes.
To have a high amount of farm and be the safe lane who's not being contested at all is something that should happen. So until he starts making some plays, I feel like this is just par for the course if you're Burn United. And you have to hope, oh, here comes a toss.
Indeed, tossing come with me, and he gets the Magic Missile onto the Shadow Fiend Avalanche as well, but Sing Sing actually getting caught up by the Razors, and he will go down. Minus will not be able to keep him alive. And 3-0 on the board for Yellow Submarine. Burden United trying up the ante, but they just can't cope with it, and Yellow Submarine are ready to deal with it.
Their laning phase on the side of Yellow Submarine is really, really good. Just because having the freedom of your supports able to be wherever they need to at any given time, not necessarily having to have all this force of, oh, we need to be helping our AM in the safe lane. Because that's the first thing that you think of when you see it is, oh, he's up against a clock. He's probably going to require some help. And that means that your middle lane all of a sudden is almost lost because it's going to be an SF and a 1v2 if you want to try to effectively zone the clock. But if you just sacrifice the fact that he's going to get level 6 or 7 on Sakshka, and you just let the Axe free farm against him, and to Dale's credit, he also got a kill, so he's doing fantastic. It just means that your Lion and your Witch Doctor get to go ham all over the map.
Absolutely, Axe is about 1,300 towards that Blink Dagger. There was a TP in from IO to the bottom lane. We also see Tiny heads down for the rune. He's going to head back to mid lane. It's just going to be Clock and the IO going for this one. They get the slow. Dale with the Berserker's Call, trying to nullify the right clicks coming through from both of them. There's your hook shot, holding him in place into the cogs as well. Dale, he's fairly tanky. I don't think he's going to be able to get out of this, though. He pops the charges. Is it going to be enough? He's running away. He might just make it. Paris trying to chase him down with the boosted move speed, going straight into the tower now, and he calls Paris, making sure that the right click damage is not enough. Dale's still alive. The spirits do finally finish him off, but it looks like Paris will pay with his life under that one. They do bring down the Axe on the road to the Blink, but they lose a life.
And they lose their stacks inside of the woods. It was very nice of Burn United to stack for the Shadow Fiend, though. I'll give them that. That is actually so bad for them. Because not only did they dive, commit 2 heroes, they end up losing one of the cores, I guess, or the offlaner who was down there in the first place, and Necroman's not going to get spotted out because it's nighttime.
Yeah.
So, yeah, night vision saving Necroman's life there.
Absolutely, he was very low on mana. Top lane, though, Come With Me needs to be careful. There's 4 heroes on the side of Yellow Submarine around in this area. And we see that very nice ward from Yellow Submarine behind the tier 1, so they know that no one else is coming in to help. So they're ready with the wraparound. They know that Venge is on her own. The right click's coming through from PSM. Are we going to see any kind of diving yet? Shadow Fiend, he's coming past the tower. The body blocks here by the Witch Doctor, very nice. Waiting for the creep wave to come in, so there's bounces. No, he just goes for it straight away because the raises are enough. And that's another kill on the board for Yellow Submarine. 5-1, and they should be able to get the tier 1 here on the top lane as well.
Crazy good early game coming out from Yellow Submarine. We can't count out Burn United, though. They have Storm, and they have Wisp, Tiny, and a Clockwork. It's only going to take 1 or 2 good engagements on their side to be able to pull themselves back into the game. The only problem with that is with their lineup, they should be ahead, but here we go.
Yeah, indeed, zipping straight in onto Barash. We're going to see TPs coming in as well. They've already brought down the Shadow Fiend. This is a very good fight for Burn United. Line's very low. The Voodoo Restoration, not enough to keep him alive. Miposhka trying to man fight up a little bit, but in comes Paris from the backside of the fight, and he brings the 2 of them down. Double kill for the Clockwork. That is what Burn United needed, bringing themselves onto the board. 5-5 now. Huge gold swing, and a nice little bit of XP there going to the side of the Dire. Well, Burn United, they're back in the game now.
It's pretty much all you need is 1 or 2 good fights, and you don't need a ton of items on Tiny early against a Witch Doctor, a Shadow Fiend, and a Lion, solely because they just can't survive your combo. So Sing decides to go for his Blink Dagger build after the phase, which he showed that he likes to do before, and he starts finding these solo pickoffs, or he even has the Wisp relocate him around. It's going to be very difficult for Yellow Submarines to find that space. And we mentioned it earlier during the draft, too. It's kind of heavily reliant on if this Axe can go for Blink. Well, right now, he bought a Ring of Health.
Yeah, what's up with that?
If he goes for Vanguard, I don't think that choice is great because he needs to start being active. If you have such a good early game, you got 2 kills, you got 50 CS at 9 minutes or close to. Okay, Sing running out of here will be okay.
Pop the Death Ward down, but they can't.
Oh, he actually got relocated. If they notice this, they could just go for a kill. Witch Doctor is going to have cast by the time they come back.
Yeah, Io could be in a lot of trouble, and I don't think he's going to bring Sing Sing back because I don't think they can turn this fight. He's going to go straight into this. No, he's going to bring Sing Sing back. In fact, this might be a mistake because Sing Sing is going to go down. My nuts there. Why did he bring Sing back?
A miscommunication by the team. There wasn't even another person in range of Burn United to try to help him do anything. And now Come With Me is just going to get tower dove because he doesn't have a team.
Now we see Storm coming in, trying to turn this one around. They're able to burst down the line. Come With Me will get dunked, though, by Dale, and he's looking for more. Necroman getting caught fairly low on mana. The spins come through. There's the dunk. He's a double kill for the Axe. They want to look for more. Sing Sing, he's low as well. There we go. Triple kill to the Axe with the triple dunk. And there's the ultra kill. My goodness. 10 minutes in, ultra kill to Dale. We talked about the fact he didn't go for a blink, but it doesn't really matter. He might be in trouble now. Paris coming in with a hook shot. Calls the Clockwork in. It could be a rampage. 10 minutes in. It's a rampage for the Axe. I don't think we'll be questioning the Vanguard build anytime soon again, Mr. Draskell. That's pretty...
That's been the secure. Very well spun by Dale. Really nice positioning, too, realizing that relocate back in was a total disaster. I don't even know why they thought that was a good idea in the first place. First off, the creeps were pushed. So they weren't relocating into a wave that was pushed towards Yellow Submarine side, it was pushed towards their side. So you have to walk into a full creep wave to help in the first place, and maybe they just thought that they could get a combo off and kill one of the supports before he was able to land a disable. Huge mistake. And that just snowballs into Necroman feeling obligated to go in because they're tower diving on Come With Me, and then it was just help your friend syndrome and everyone dies.
Bottom lane, there's a swap back onto the aim. He blinks forward, but of course can't get the distance, and he should go down here. They will find a kill onto the anti-mage. The money going to Io. So a nice kill, but off the back of a very, very bad fight in the mid lane. Sing Sing needs to be careful. He is kind of on his own here. Does have the Clockwork in the tree line. Clockwork does not have the hook shot back off cooldown, so Sing Sing will back up, go down to the bottom rune to bottle himself up. And the pressure being applied now by Yellow Submarine on the mid lane. And we're going to see a replay, Draskell. I hope it's of that Axe play because that was pretty awesome.
Oh, this is already the point where they realize that Come With Me was getting dove, and they have a TP reaction, and Sing even buys back for this team fight. They stun him under the tower, and this Axe is incredibly tanky. You're right, the Vanguard keeping him alive in this situation, but it's good to know that you have this type of potential play when you build the tanky build, and it's really easy to justify, oh yeah, well I can just run in and tank the tower, no big deal. And you can see Sakshka coming in here. He's like, I got him, team. I got, okay, I don't got. Because he spun twice in that cog. And I'm just saying, that was pretty lucky. He should have died there, but he was the spin lord.
All skill, Draskell, all skill. In the jungle now, we see 3 heroes of Burden United, maybe looking to wrap round towards the mid lane. But at the same time, all the heroes in the mid lane, Yellow Submarine heading towards top. Come with me. He's on his own again in the top lane, looking for some levels. Minus and Sing Sing looking to try and steal some of the jungle camps from this side of the Radiant, but it's not going to be as tasty as those that Yellow Submarine did find from the Dire jungle with all those stacks that have been created. 11-7 on the board. Looking at the net worth, we see Shadow Fiend and Axe very much at the top. 7k on the Shadow Fiend, 6.5 on the Axe, the closest being Necroman on the Storm with 5,000. And it's going to be even more of a difference now as they look to take the top tier 1. Fortification will come out, but it should go down here nonetheless. And they're going to TP down to the bottom because they want to try to defend this. PSM, he's on his own at the moment. It's going to be hard for Burden United to push this one down, especially with more backup. Sing Sing, he's diving. I think he's maybe overestimating himself a little bit. He is caught in a place where he does not want to be. Therefore goes down. And Sing Sing, what was he looking for, Draskell?
A hope and a prayer, I guess. I don't know. His team kind of bailed on him, so maybe he was just a sacrificial lamb. But here's the problem. If you look at the net worths, the Tiny is worth less than the offlane AM. That's a problem. You can't be worth less than the offlane AM as a dual lane mid. So he's died a ton this game already. He's died 5 times. So he bought back, and he died again in middle lane. So he has phase boots and a wand and 3 branches at 13 minutes as a hero who is supposed to be ideally one of the most farmed heroes on the side of Burden United. Now again, the comeback potential of Burden United's team is pretty good because Wisp Tiny late game can just backdoor towers and it's kind of scary. However, in order to do that, you actually do need some semblance of farm, and he's just not finding it.
Oh, Meboshka going for the jungle. He's going to find Paris here. In fact, eats the tree, sees him straight away, and well, Paris just TPs out. Doesn't want to hang around here. TPs himself actually straight back to base, so he isn't going to be able to help out with this push that is coming in on the mid lane from Yellow Submarine. 4 heroes with Anti-Mage just behind them as well. Has got the Mana Void available to offer that extra bit of damage in the fight. And here we go, straight onto the tier 1s. And Burden United's going to be able to do anything to stop this. They pop out the fortification. Sing Sing will find himself a Hadrian Dale. He's gone straight in, and he's going to be able to dunk the Vengeful Spirit. That is Axe with a wicked sick kill streak. They get the tower as well. Things could not be going better for Yellow Submarine at this point, 14 minutes in.
Well, said that AM needed space, and he's going to have it. There's going to be another teleport to your top lane. Ooh, cancels the call.
Should be able to chase down Minuts, though. Oh, the tether is there, going towards the Storm. Storm gets himself out there. There's another blink and call available from Dale. He might be able to stop Aya, but Aya behind the tree. Using the tree very, very nicely.
He was short on mana. He didn't have stick up either until he was already gone.
Paris is a little bit dead.
Yeah, a little bit.
BKB popped by Shadow Fiend, who's having a very good time. If you look at the SF's build, 14 minutes in, BKB treads 2.2k gold. Not bad at all for the old SF, especially seeing as he was up against this tiny IO mid lane.
And normally I would say that rushing BKB straight up could be seen as detrimental to your overall farm game, but if you're just dominating so hard that you can get all the tier 1s, maybe start pushing into tier 2s, and the only kill potential that Burden United currently have is through magical damage, having a BKB can be fantastic because your Axe can just force the engagement. He's now got a blink, so he's looking for the combo play. He blinks in with Requiem and BKB, and you just take the fight off the back of that. And honestly, if they land one good combo, it's a free tier 2 tower or free Roshan, for example. And if you want to go for more late game transition afterwards, you know that for the foreseeable future, Burden United are not going to be able to fight into the 5-mana Yellow Submarine. There's just no way. None of their heroes have anything.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to make anything happen here. They've got Sing Sing in the lane with 3 of them just hiding out of vision in the Radiant jungle, ready for any kind of defense coming out from the side of Yellow Submarine. We see them sending in fact, the entire team bar the Anti-Mage down towards this bottom lane. Necroman will be spotted out. Can they get the call? Yes, they can. There's also going to be the Minister from the Paralyzing Casket. Shouldn't be enough to hold him in place for too long. No, Necroman is able to zip out. Actually gets relocated out. So,
this is bad. This is really bad. He can't bring it back this time. Not again.
Was that relocate necessary?
Well, I don't think so, but maybe he thought that he was going to get bursted harder, so it's just a sacrifice to the Wisp, which is fine. I mean, that's the lesser of 2 evils, but that also means that Roshan could potentially be the option here for Yellow Submarine. They don't have anybody with Lifesteal, but they do have Voodoo Restoration at level 4 and an AM on the high ground. The sickest blink.
This is, it's got to get that vision. Going straight for the Roshan, and
oh, the AM went Vanguard and maxing Spell Shield.
What do you think
so
of
he
that,
wants to
Drasko?
fight. I thought that they were just going to use him as kind of a backup, as in, if our early game goes well, but we can't break high ground, we'll just use the AM as a Battle Fury carrier to push out lanes and just be relatively annoying. Because even Necroman's farm, he's going for Bloodstone. So what that does against an AM is, well, nothing, because you can't actually hold the AM down long enough to kill him. So you just go for the greedy build and you go Battle Fury Vlad's Manta. And then you have another core on the team who's actually very difficult for Burn United to take down in the ultra late. But again, if their whole game plan is just to try to take all the map control away by the next 10, 15 minutes, and then just choke out Burn United, that could also work.
So they're going to try and continue the choking, pushing down the bottom lane, getting some damage onto this tier 2 now, the full 5-man. Burning United, they've got 2 heroes in the top lane, 2 in the middle, 1 heading towards the middle lane. Doesn't look like they want to even try and defend against this aggression. Yellow Submarine, of course, with that Aegis on the Axe. Going to be very, very hard to stop this momentum. I mean, Yellow Submarine, what's the plan? Do they need to keep this pressure on, or, I mean, can they play it safe?
As far ahead as they are, they could potentially break high ground, but they need a really nice engagement. I think the safer play is just to go for the tier 2s and push out mid, push out top, but they do not care about playing safe, apparently. They just want to go for it now. They do have Crimson, and they have level 4 Voodoo Restoration, and all abilities are off cooldown, including BKB Blink and Requiem on the Shadow Fiends, so they're feeling confident. They definitely can do it.
Oh, Sing Sing Blink again, getting a massive avalanche into toss there. The entire team getting very low. Barash pops the BKB. They've lost the Storm. They'll lose the Venge as well. They are all fairly low, though, on the side of Yellow Submarine. Dale will get caught out by the toss. Paris looks for the hook shot. He isn't going to be able to catch the AM, who did just blink out. Dale, he's going to be caught in the middle of it all. Is he going to be able to pull anything off here? He's already down to half health. They'll get the avalanche into the toss. Axe almost certainly will go down here as Paris and Sing Sing do chase him down. Negative earn charge as well. Will find the kill. Now Barash, actually, he might be in trouble, and he will go down with the Requiem doing so much damage. Here comes AM, maybe looking for the cleanup. Minuts will go down. Sing Sing is going to be the only one left alive. Miposhka hasn't got the Mana Void, just needs to find the Tiny, and he will see him now. Sing Sing goes in with the toss, with the punches, then blinks out before the damage comes in from AM. So it's a fairly even trade. Burden United, that went all right.
It wasn't even. It was way better for Burden United.
Yeah.
That should not have been stopped like that. To get 4-man Avalanche tossed was very bad positioning. I don't think this AM is going to die to Necroman, though. He doesn't do enough damage. The Vanguard coming in huge. But that push should have been a lot more successful if they had just spaced out a little bit better. If you only lose 1 hero, it's not a huge deal at the start of a fight, but they ended up losing 2 before any abilities were even cast. So that was really badly played by Yellow Submarine, like being that clumped up against a Tiny.
Indeed, really did not work out for them at all. And seeing them regroup towards the mid lane, all 5 of them, they're going to smoke up. In fact, without the SF, maybe looking to use him as bait. He's going to head to the jungle and look to just farm up as the rest of them ready to go aggressive. Anti-Mage actually breaks the smoke there to start farming the creep wave. Fervian, Dale, they're going to be heading towards the top lane, where at the moment we see Vengeful Spirit and Storm. Are they going to be able to find anything? Looks like they just want to hang around under the cover of smoke to look for the 20-minute rune. Now, here we go. Dale, he's ready to go on the aggressive. They don't know that anyone's here for sure. And if they go that way, well, they would have the smoke dispelled. They're going to go around the other way, look around the jungle, see if they can find anyone in this situation. Maybe wrap around towards mid, where we do see the Clockwork on his own at the moment. But there we go. They're going to finally find Come With Me. Come With Me could be in a lot of trouble. Finger, there's the blink. There's the straight-up dunk, actually. Isn't going to do the job, but the right clicks and the Battle Hunger should tick down Come With Me, and he will go down. Hookshot from Paris, catching out Miposhka and Fervian with the cogs as well. Barash and Dale, though, for the side of Yellow Submarine, trying to clean up. Paris will find the kill onto Lion. Dale, he's going up against Sing Sing, and with the Death Ward as well. Sing Sing taking a lot of damage. Blink 4 by Barash. Toss from Sing Sing, but he will go down to the final punch there from the Shadow Fiend. And a couple of kills there for Yellow Submarine. They do only lose the Lion.
It was kind of sloppy at the start there, but they ended up getting a couple of kills out of it. They get the core. Tiny, again, what's that, death number 6 for Sing? So, a bit unfortunate for him, and only losing a Lion off the back of it, not even that big of a deal. He had already used Finger by the time Sakshika had got his cogs off anyway, so it wasn't the highest value kill, but they'll take what they can get, I suppose, at this point. It's just Yellow Submarine continued to apply just non-stop pressure to the side of Burden United. And Necroman with only a Bloodstone, he might be able to go in and absorb some damage, but his kill potential isn't really that high at the moment. He only has level 2 Vortex. You want at least level 3 before you start feeling like you can even go for a solo kill. And the way that Yellow Submarine are playing, he might not even have that chance. They're just always grouped up as 5. They're going to find Come With Me here top lane. Not a chance to live through that. There was a Clockwork there, but there was nothing that he could do.
Poshka now chasing down Minuts. going to be able to do anything apart from scare him off. Necroman at the moment looking to split push, looking to increase his farm after finishing off that Bloodstone. He's got 1.1k gold on him at the moment. Sing Sing in the mid lane is on his own. There is the entire team of Yellow Submarine in the neighborhood. He does need to be careful. Will blink south, blink away from this push. Coming in now onto the mid lane. They're going to look to take the final tier 2 away from the side of Burden United, or maybe not. They're happy with where they are. They're going to keep it safe. 22 minutes is about to hit. Look for the bottom rune and heading down to stop this push coming out from Storm Spirit, but Necroman in the trees. He's almost certainly going to either get out there or maybe turn it around with Sing Sing if Yellow Submarine decide to go in onto the Tiny. Sing Sing, he's on his own here. Necroman will be ready to jump in. Sing Sing staying in the trees, keeping himself conspicuous. Ooh, Yellow Submarine, I don't know if they're going to be able to find them here. They've got 3 of them down here.
They can kill the Lion. He just needs to be farther away from the creep wave. I think Sing is just hesitant to go because he might accidentally toss a creep instead of the Lion. And if that happens, the Lion lives. And then he gets hexed and they could turn it. So it's a little scary.
Maybe waiting to see if Miposhka gets left on his own. They do have a Vengeful Spirit down here as well. The Ward will scour the line, and there we go. He's just going straight in on the line. That is going to be the Lion, quickly dispatched. And actually, Necroman TPing out. They won't be able to find him there with the Mana Void to cancel the TP. And they get a nice little quick, easy kill, and looks like they'll be able to get out as well. Minot's coming in to help Sing Sing retreat and come with me close behind. So they get a little kill on the Tiny there. It pays off hanging around down the bottom lane.
It helps a lot to have the enemy team move to your kind of advantage, I guess. So if you're positioning in that way, even if you're committing both your cores and you make them TP just to stop like one hero from getting picked off, that gives you your side of the map back for a little while. So you can continue to try to get some farm. Necroman needs minimum 1 more item. Sing has Blink, which is nice now because he can isolate the supports and just kill them straight up. He's even a little bit over halfway to finishing up his Aghanims. So Burden United, again, a lot of experienced players. Their early game went about as bad as you could have ever wanted it to in this scenario. Losing the middle lane, bottom lane, solo kill going the way of Dale, playing the Axe on the side of the Yellow Submarine. Even the safe lane, like Necroman had okay farm, but it's not enough to just have a Bloodstone. You need a secondary pickup. So if they can buy themselves another 5 or 10 minutes, I think the experience is going to start kicking in where they're going to be able to outmaneuver Yellow Submarine. If they start falling into this passivity where they start split farming against Wisp, Tiny, and a Storm, that's what Burden United want them to do. They want them to get into that mode where they don't feel confident in breaking the high ground and just start farming in random spots.
Indeed, so 22-13, 24 minutes in. Dale, he's going to be going for that BKB after the Blink Crimson. He's fairly close to it as well. Only about 600 gold away from the recipe. We saw that the Witch Doctor, of course, working on that Aghanims. He's already got a couple of the components, has the Ogre Club, has the point booster already at this point. And in the jungle, well, Dale, he finds himself a Storm, but Storm zips away, keeps himself out of harm. And, I mean, what is the plan of action? You were talking about what Yellow Submarine need to do, but what do Burden United? Are they very happy with this kind of pace that the game has changed?
Absolutely.
This is perfect for them.
Even as mentioned earlier, you want it to go late game if you're a more experienced team because you just make the better choices. So you lose one team fight or something like that, and actually going to see a relocate here.
Indeed, onto the line, he pops out the stun and the hex, and he might be alright with PSM coming in as well. The bounce is there as well. Minus will go down. Sing Sing will be able to burst down the line. They'll be able to find the Witch Doctor as well, so double kill there for Sing. Dale coming in with the core just a little bit too late as Necroman's able to zip away. BKB and Requiem actually popped by the Shadow Fiend. Paris won't be able to TP out as the Mana Void with the mini stun cancels it. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but the double kill does go to the Tiny on the side of Burden United.
Quick reaction from Yellow Submarine to get everyone there. Unfortunately, Dale's call missed. If they had gotten Necroman, it would have been a clear win, even if they kill Sakshka on the side of Burden United. So still slightly better for Yellow Submarine just because they committed a relocate. Everyone pretty much on the side of Burden United were there, and so were Yellow Submarine, and they only lost 2. So I think that's fine, but in the sense that, again, delaying the game, I think is in favor of the team with more experience. That Burden United could potentially be happy with that. If the Tiny gets an Aghanims, for example, and he gets another attack speed item for if he wants to go AC or if he wants to go Manta in this game, he's almost got his, or he does have his Aghanims finished, excuse me. Yeah, he's got it on the courier, thank you, Webboss. But once he gets another item on top of that, you start having the threat of towers just getting backdoored. Like the mid-tier 1 is still alive. And if Yellow Submarine continue this 5-man style, a farmed Tiny can completely dismantle your base if you're not paying attention. So it needs to become more and more of an urgency to say, okay, we had a really great early game. We lost a high ground fight, which I still feel would be the main turning point in the game. even if they exchange evenly, they ended up losing one more hero because of Aegis on the side of Yellow Submarine. And that push should have Raxed. Like, if they played it well, it should have just been a Rax down. And if that happens, the game dynamic is totally different at this point. So I feel Burden United kind of got away pretty nicely, considering how poorly their early game went. But all in all, I think Yellow Submarine just need to continue the pressure. I actually don't think that splitting up is the right thing to do against what Burden United have.
I mean, indeed, we've seen in past games as well, Burden United are very good at coming back. Well, I think the other week we saw them in a game where it started off like 7-0. They're having an awful early game, but they brought it back, and it certainly looks to be a game where they're going to be able to maybe do that. Just might be able to again in this first game of the best of 3 series. 24-15, you're talking about the late game. Burden United are going to be very confident if they go there, and they're already en route to a very good place with this, especially looking at the Storm. He's got 11 charges on the Bloodstone. Not bad for a game 25 minutes in where he didn't have the best early game.
He had a free safe lane, so again, his farm isn't spectacular, but he was also contributing to some of the earlier fights. Like when he came mid, when Come With Me was getting dove, and he ended up dying because of that. Like, small things really hurt your farm. If you're off the map for like an extra 2 or 3 minutes, you miss 6 creep waves, you know, that's a lot of money to not have in your inventory. So looks like the game is going to resume here in just a second as a PSM is apparently back. But I'm really impressed with the way that Yellow Submarines have played this. I mean, we were expecting them to come in the underdogs, and they were like, no, we're not having any of that. We're going to go in, and we're going to show everyone that we deserve to be here. And that is a very angry-looking man.
It is. He's not.
Like, why is he so mad?
He
it's only
not
game.
There, was he?
All right. I feel like maybe you should send in a different picture for him or try to find him. He's probably an awesome guy. Maybe he just really had to go to the bathroom.
It's not the best side we caught of him there, but well, PSM,
okay.
We've got some stats at least. That's nice.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything before the game, but
now it's just
we
like
stepped it up.
It's the abyss. Now we don't get to see anything.
No, and the game is unpaused, so hopefully. Oh no, it's unpaused again.
Good.
They won't believe me now. It was unpaused literally for a second there.
Apparently now Burden United are the ones who need to pause. So we have switched from Yellow Submarines to Burden United pause.
Well, Draskell, Yellow Submarine. They were the underdogs.
Impressive play.
It is impressive play. 24-15. I mean, Burden United next year, what do they do against this? The Tiny Eye, why isn't the Tiny IO worked out as well as it did? What did Yellow Submarine do so well that's really ruined the game? Well, the early game at least for Burden. What did they do?
The key pick for me was the Axe.
The Axe.
So every single time in ASUS ROG DreamLeague that we've seen Axe and a Clockwork on the other team, it normally ends up in being a 1v1, the Clock versus the Axe. And every single time, the supports of the team who have the Axe end up doing a lot more. So it seems like a trend. Now, I don't know if it's just like coincidence or whatever, but they always just have a great early game because the Axe never needs anyone to address attention to the Clockwork. And I feel like that's one of the biggest strengths of the hero is to say you need at least 2 people to tango. And unfortunately, they don't on the side of Yellow Submarine. So now their early game was fantastic because he supports Roam, and that's only because the Axe pick allowed them to leave that lane, just totally ignore it.
Well, we're back into the game now. Burden United, they've got the Clockwork down at the moment. The rest of the team are looking to set back and try and find the farm in the jungle. Yellow Submarine, we've got to remember that Yellow Submarine, they are still top of the net worth board, and especially in terms of their 2 cores, with the Shadow Fiend at 13.5k gold up against the 11k that's coming around the corner for Necroman on the Storm Spirit. Yellow Submarine grouping up. They're going to look for a smoke here. They do have a smoke on the courier. It's probably just going to wait for Axe to clear this camp, and then they'll be ready to go, and they'll be able to see if they can catch anyone out. There is a dire ward there, but I don't believe that would have caught that smoke.
Oh, this smoke is a bit early. They should really wait for the Axe's BKB if they're going to do this.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to find anything. Minus, he's on his own at the moment. They're just going to smoke into Roche. Roche is up. So it could be a potential for the side of Yellow Submarine. And it looks like they may do that just indeed. Yeah, Barash picks up the double damage. They're going to scout out straight away with the rocket flare. But it's going to fall very, very quickly. Can Burden United get there in time?
I believe they know. The Storm just TP'd to tier 2 mid. They saw him walking in the jungle with the ward that they had. It just faded a second ago on the side of Yellow Submarine. So they probably just saw that and just said, let's try to Roach go. The steal, he gets it!
Necroman with the steal. The side of Yellow Submarine do find the Roche, but losing the Aegis.
That hurts so bad.
That's not great.
Especially a Storm getting it.
Yeah.
So Necroman before, the problem with going Bloodstone first is typically you have to commit like all of your mana to get a kill. which sometimes can be okay if the kill is a core or something like that. But what Storm wants to do is he wants to go on supports. He doesn't want to have to go on a core who's extremely tanky, like an Axe with a BKB or a Shadowfiend with a BKB. So now he can expend his entire mana pool killing supports, die, and then come back again and be able to get himself back out. It is, in my opinion, the best Aegis carrier in the game. There's nothing better than having a Storm with an Aegis.
Absolutely. And well, we saw that as well. Sing Sing on the Tiny was able to clear up a quick stack on the side of the Radiant. So more money under Sing Sing's belt. Mask of Madness coming out for Sing. So we're seeing the Mask of Madness Tiny. What's up with that, Draskell?
Just a method to be able to farm a little bit faster, maybe go for the backdoor. They got the tier 1 towers, so if the lanes are continued to be pushed out on the side of Burn United and they can just find openings to relocate and get some damage on tier 2s, it becomes very scary once those towers drop, because then your base is almost exposed. And it only takes 1 or 2 good relocates to rack somebody if your tier 3 is even attackable and you don't have Glyph off cooldown. I feel as though they're going to try to pull Yellow Submarine apart a bit. And the fact that they got that Aegis, that was supposed to be the end of the game. And Sing, he's going to find PSM here in the river.
Indeed, Witch Doctor a little bit alone here.
Oh, zap.
Tries to get himself away. And that's an extra charge onto the Bloodstone now for Necroman. 12 charges, 28 minutes in. Necroman, he's going to be able to run circles around the side of Yellow Submarine.
Oh, he's got BKB too. This is completely game-changing for Burden United. Having BKB Bloodstone on the Storm and Aegis, they want to fight now. It's no longer, we're going to try to pull you apart a bit. They can still play that style if they end up losing an engagement, which leaves them a little bit of leeway. But this AM, like the items that he's gone for, it's a complete battle build. He doesn't have Battle Fury. He can't push out the waves. He's got Manta, Vlad's, and a Vanguard. So he is very capable at fighting, but he's not capable at split pushing. So you've left yourself only really 2 heroes that can push out lanes, and you don't want to be isolated against what Burden United have. For example, if the AM was by himself and he had Battle Fury Manta instead of like Vanguard, he would be able to get away from the gank unless Necroman had like a Hex, which he doesn't. And he would be able to push the lanes out. And that leaves another person on the map that you can't deal with if you're Burden United without committing a lot. And you kind of want that if you're going later and later into the game.
Talk about committing a lot. We actually saw there as well. Sing Sing with Minuts going in with a few punches on the tower, instantly forces 4 teleports in from the side of Yellow Submarine. Dale's going to be able to clean up the creep wave here. But that's forcing a big reaction from the side of Yellow Submarine. It's certainly slowing them down in terms of farm, especially when you look at the fact that Burden United, they've got the clock on the top lane, finding his items, and we're starting to see the team net worth really take a swing, favouring the side of Burden United, and also the XP gained as well. And that's your Axe now on the clock. 30 minutes in, not the best of timing, but it's a big pickup again on top of the 4 staff and the treads.
Being able to continually chase down. If the Clockwork lives through his initiation, having the potential to get maybe 1 or 2 extra kills can be fantastic, just to snowball your team a little bit harder. And as the game goes later and later, it's not often we see people get high grounded before 25 minutes in this patch. It's very hard to do. And if Yellow Submarine were able to do it earlier, again, I think it would have been a drastically different game. But the mistake by them grouping up like that hard could bite them pretty hard here. There is a relocate. That was a very slow reaction, actually.
Yeah, the Berserker's calling came very late. They do blink forward, trying to catch out Sing Sing and Minuts, but here's Necroman with the BKB. He's going to be able to clear up Fervian. Might be able to look for more. BKB has been popped by Dale. Necroman in the middle of it will get caught out by the Berserker's call, going through the Magic Immunity and the Death Ward. Aegis is there, of course. Can he get out there? Look for the record shot straight away. The timing there, beautifully done by Barash. Now try and look for more, but Sing Sing blinks out, and well, that was bang on. That timing was great. I love how Dale wasn't even concerned with the Aegis respawning the Storm. He's just standing there going, yeah, all right, whatever, our Shadow Fiend's got it. It's no big deal. I would have been like terrified that Necroman would have gotten away and I would have been standing right there, but he's got faith in his teammates and it's well deserved. Yeah, very nice play by the Shadow Fiend there. 2.5k gold on himself now, still very much at the top of that net worth board. What would you expect to see in terms of an item build coming out from Shadow Fiend now after the SNY, after the BKB, and after the Helm Blink?
I don't know if I like the SNY here. It's an item that typically is seen as you kind of want to end the game on a Shadow Fiend because his accelerated farm rate is what makes him such a great mid-game hero, is that he gets items a lot faster than everybody else. But if you buy SNY and then it becomes 40 minutes in and 50 minutes in, you just want to replace it, so then it becomes kind of a waste. If you go Manta, it's better at going high ground. The illusions might not serve a drastic purpose in this particular game, but even against Clockwork, it can be relatively useful. And that way you don't have to BKB if you get hookshot, for example, and you can maybe Manta your way out if you get lucky. But Sing?
And bottom lane commits to the tower. He will find it. Dale trying to come in with the call, but gets avalanched straight away. Top lane, come with me. He's very low. Miposhka should be able to clean this one up, and he will do indeed. That is going to be a kill to the anti-mage. And Venge just aggressively farming there a little bit out on his own. In comes the relocate Necroman as well, trying to find the AM. Sing Sing blinking forward. They get the slow there from the Storm Spirit. But Miposhka should be able to blink again. Doesn't get caught out by the avalanche. In fact, he's going straight for the base. It is the wrong base. Paris has got a hook shot. And that's going to be a dead anti-mage. Was that the right place to go?
Well, I don't know if he saw the he didn't see the TP from low ground, obviously. No. And as soon as he gets there, he's like, oh, crap, it's actually Clockwork. That's not great for me. But they do get the Wisp in the meantime. A Lion secures that kill for the side of Yellow Submarine. Not great to lose the AM, but that was an example of if he had used his Blink and gone instead down instead of back towards the enemy base, might have been able to live. And if he's able to split push, then it becomes a lot more threatening.
Well, here we go. Hook shine onto PSM, and there's the backup as well from Necroman. He will get hooked up straight away. Witch Doctor will fall. Barash trying to turn this around. BKB has been popped by Necroman. Barash won't be able to chase these guys down today. So another pick off onto the Witch Doctor. And there was another hook shot there, but it looked like it was a hook shot back to base. Clockwork heading back to refuel. But killing the Witch Doctor, more kills under Burden United's belt, and that is your BKB now complete on Tiny as well, and still 1,400 gold on Sing Sing. Really catching up in terms of net worth, only 2k behind this Shadow Fiend now, and if the game keeps going at this pace and momentum, wouldn't be surprised if we see him at the top of the board fairly shortly.
Wouldn't shock me at all. A lot of the time, Yellow Submarine are trying to focus on fighting and farming, where Burden United, they're just using the map more effectively at this point. No one on the side of Yellow Submarine dares cross the river after seeing what happened to the AM. He's probably the hardest hero on the team to kill who can't just BKB and try to teleport out, which can still be canceled by a well-timed toss or a hookshot. So even if you have BKB, you can't feel 100% safe in your split push. So now, it's just, oh, we got to defensively farm. And that leaves room for Burden United to look for these heroes pushing a solo lane and just say, okay, yeah, we're going to use a relocate, get a kill, and then your map control dwindles even more. So I'm feeling a little bit nervous for Yellow Submarine. They're still in the game, but I feel like they should have done a lot more with what they had. The Necro Steal was massive, again, or Aegis Steal from Necroman, excuse me. And the failed high ground push are like still, in my opinion, the biggest issues that they've had this game.
Indeed, now Burden United with 4 heroes on the bottom lane, ready to maybe try and push it up to the high ground. Yellow Submarine, they're grouping up mid. Did they smoke up there towards the mid lane? They did not. They're just going to look to rotate into their own jungle. They're still out of vision. There is the ward there if they come any closer. But they won't, in fact. They're going to back up. They don't want to go into their jungle without any kind of vision or detection onto the side of Burden United. They're still not sure where they are at. Just going to look to stay back and farm up. Burden United, they're going to group up together, still hanging around just to see if anyone does come in from the side of Yellow Submarine. They do, of course, have that dire ward very nicely by the entry point to the jungle. But Yellow Submarine, they're not falling for it. They're just going to head down to the bottom lane, clear out the creep wave, and mid lane Axe working towards that Shiva's Guard, has the recipe, 2.7k gold, and there we go, zipping straight in. The fight has begun from Burden United. They've already taken down 2 heroes. Barash, he's getting slapped by Sing Sing. Necroman getting fairly low to the anti-mage, but there we go, stun onto Barash as the BKB wears out. That's a double kill here for the Tiny. Miposhka is trying to find my nuts. Blink through from there, will find the dunk onto the eye of Barash, trying to turn this one around, raises onto the Venge. You pop the Ghost Scepter, there's your dunk to finish it off. And Dale, maybe he looks for more, he's a little bit low on mana. Miposhka leading the charge, and beautiful. Sing Sing pops the avalanche, which Miposhka blinks into, stopping him from chasing down the Tiny. Paris will look to TP out, they've got nowhere to cancel it. They get the clock play, and they get the Tiny out, and Sing Sing there with the anticipation play.
That was sick. Not only the stun from Sing, but the hook shot, realizing that it would stun the 2 heroes that he was going past and the hero that he was going to ensure that he could get a decent cog to TP out of that situation. That was actually crazy good coming out from Sakshka. Very well played. They might have ended up killing him or maybe Sing if he hadn't done that. Hard to say, but again, they commit buyback to that, so Barash bought out to try to defend. They end up losing the Storm on the side of Burden United, the Wisp, and the Venge, so it wasn't a total disaster. But you can see the difference in play style after 20 minutes in. Absolutely. When Yellow Submarine had basically dominated the early game and the beginning of the mid game, and then one messed up push and a Roshan, and all of a sudden, it's like, how do we go? How do we fight anymore?
And I mean, we were talking about pretty much, what, 2 minutes ago, Sing Sing chasing up the Shadow Fiend and the Axe, and well, now he's top of the board, and suddenly 3k gold ahead of the SF.
That's what happens at 6.83, is if you just live through the fights, you don't even have to get the kills. If you're just there, you accumulate ridiculous amounts of gold. So even though Yellow Submarine played a fantastic early game, the early game isn't the only game anymore. It's not like, oh, we win early game in the first 20 minutes, you can't come back. Now it's, if you mess up 1 or 2 times, the other team is in the game. And if you have a lineup that needs to win by a certain point, you're actually just behind. So with the way that this AM built, they don't really have that fallback mechanism that they were looking for, even though his net worth is still very high for an offlaner. Like, he's got more farm than Sakshka. It's just that his impact isn't as high.
Oh, we see a smoke from Yellow Submarine. The blink straight onto the IO. They'll be able to find a quick and easy kill there. And now straight into Roshan.
All right, Necroman.
All right, where is he?
This
Where's
is
the
your
Storm?
time.
Come on, Storm. There he is. He's ready to go.
The flare
he's
vision
ready
is
to
there.
zip. Yeah, he's going to be able to see the timing here. And, well,
He's got his TP drop.
We've seen him do it before. He's very, very capable.
Mom's spaghetti.
Of going for the steal here. There we go. In fact, straight onto Sing Sing, in fact, from Yellow Submarine from the low ground, trying to catch him out. There's the swap from Come With Me. Fervian's actually going to be the first to fall here. Deathfall gets popped down, doing a fair bit of damage. Necroman now onto Come With Me. Come With Me will fall. That is 2 heroes down. There's a buyback from Io. Damage coming through from Dale here on this Axe. Double kill from the Shadow Fiend. It is 2 heroes for 1 Miposhka. Blinks away. There's the toss from Sing Sing. He's fighting through it all, but will get blown up there by the Requiem Assault. It's an ultra kill for the Shadow Fiend. And well, Necroman zipping forward. Needs to be careful though. He is kind of on his own here. Does have the IO. Miposhka coming through. BKB popped by Necroman. Necroman is now out of mana. PSM and Miposhka keeping the aggression on. The bash is coming through onto Minus. The bounces as well. The hook shot in from Paris. He is back into the fight. Tries to live for the anti-mage. The pull from Necroman holding in place. He will go down. PSM tries to TP out. Will be able to get away. 4 heroes down on Yellow Submarine. I believe, was it just the 1 buyback used there from Burden United onto the IO?
It was 2. Clockwork
as well.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. They managed to get 4 heroes on the Yellow Submarine.
No, Storm bought back, it was 3. It was 3 buybacks.
3 buybacks, yes.
So Yellow Submarine killed a heck of a lot there. And they still end up losing the engagement just because Burden United came better prepared.
Yes.
They had buybacks of more heroes. They had the heroes who could actually get back into position. So Clockwork and Wisp and Storm, very mobile if you have your relocate up. And since Come With Me swapped Sing, I'm pretty sure he didn't use his relocate at the start of the fight. And he just had it to come back in. So everything considered, it was a huge investment for Burden United to get that Roshan, but I really feel like they needed it. They could not let Yellow Submarine get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting the Roche pickup is certainly very, very nice for the team at the moment. And we see Bleach Doctor did manage to complete the Aghanims, so I believe that was almost certainly active in that last fight, unless he's just gone and picked that one up. Come With Me. In the jungle looking to get some warding down, perhaps. He needs to be careful, though, because there's a fair few heroes. He gets the ward out, but blink straight through from Fervian. This could be I think he pays with his life, or maybe not. In comes the relocate. There we go. Here comes the 8 team. Dale with a dunk straight onto the bench, tossing them through. The Sing Sing clears them up with a double kill. It might be more. Dale puts the BKB and the Shiva's guard, but he's caught in the cogs between 3 of them. Necroman coming in as well. Axe will fall. 3 heroes down. Maybe Miposhka as well. In comes the Orchid from Necroman, zipping through, pulling him in. Miposhka getting low. Will be able to start it off, and with the Mana Void, it's very, very big. But Storm with the Aegis, he's going to be back for round 2. Sing Sing heads back. There's going to be the blink out from the anti-mage. Paris pops the cheese, has the hook shot, looking to find an initiation onto the Shadow Fiend, who's getting caught out by the Necroman. There's your hook shot. Shadow Fiend will fall as well. 4 heroes down on the side of Yellow Submarine. Only buyback available on Axe, and what a fight there for Burden.
That was such a nice toss by Sing, throwing him inside of the cogs that Sakshka had laid down. 3 people just getting cleaved to death by Mask of Madness, BKB overcharge Tiny. There's not many more things in Dota that are more terrifying than being stuck in that situation. I really just...
Not at all.
It's impressive to watch a team who has such a awful early game. Like, let's be totally honest. It was bad for Burden United. They were getting stomped almost in every single lane. They were getting pushed high ground at like 20 minutes in, and it was very real possibility that Yellow Submarine could have racked them at that point in the game with what they had. And we're going to see another hook here.
Going straight in and onto the anti-mage and the Axe. So it does force the BKB out. Sing Sing is there as well, ready to try and clean up. Dale gets the call onto Minuts. Minuts will go down. That's the IO out of this fight. Necroman, he's a little bit low on mana. He has got to the BKB charge, helping him out. Will get himself away from the engagement. Sing Sing, he's manning up. They're trying to go on Dale, but the Voodoo Restoration for BSM is certainly helping this Axe out, as Axe will be able to retreat and needs to get back in range of the heal, but he doesn't. The Rocket Flare comes through, cleans him up. Sing Sing finds the kill onto the Witch Doctor. There's your hook shot into Miposhka, and Miposhka is dead. Triple kill there for Paris on the Clockwork. Sing Sing now on a killing spree. It's suddenly all falling apart for the side of Yellow Submarine.
You could say it's a disaster. It is like, it's actually a disaster.
Oh, I wondered if that was a pun, Draskell.
No,
it
it's not a
literally
pun.
just is a disaster.
It is.
Oh, is that a reference to Sing Sing?
Well, it's a lot of people have said it in some comical way at some point.
Talking about comical way, Barash, what was that? Requiem of Soul onto nothing. Sing Sing comes in with the slaps, want to try and punish him. The lifesteal from Barash helping a little bit out, but there's the magic missile of the slap. Sing Sing is now dominating. 3 heroes down at the moment on the side of Yellow Submarine. Burden United 35-38, bringing themselves back into the game. Look at the net worth, 23,000 on this tiny, 18,000 on the Shadow Fiend. Oh, hello Pervian, he wants to try and have a little fight onto Sing Sing with that. Oh my goodness, Sing Sing, he doesn't even care. Turns around with the slaps onto Miposhka, and Miposhka, he bought back, he's dead for 100 seconds. Look at the zip-in from Necroman. They find themselves another kill. Onto Lion, onto the racks. Tier 3s are down, 43 minutes in. They took their time, but they certainly seem to be doing it now. Straight to the tier 4s. They don't want to mess around. 4 heroes down on the side of Yellow Submarine. There's nothing they can do to stop this. First tier 4 goes down. That's going to be the second tier 4 going down. Witch Doctor, come on. We need to look at it go. Get yourself in there with the cask and the death forward. But now he sits in base and says, no, GG, go next, sitting in base. And there we go. GG well played is called by Dale. And well, that's classic Burden United there. They have a bad start, but then they just have amazing team fights towards the latter half of the mid game. And come the late game, they're just absolute powerhouses, and you can't stop the Necro and the Sing Sing.
Necroman kind of salvaged the game for them, I feel. Even at the stage where they had already kind of climbed their way back up in terms of net worth and farm, it wasn't really 100% that they were going to win. It was still, if they got that Roshan, if they had given it to Barash or they'd given it to the Axe again, there could have been potential high ground. There would have been buybacks, I'm sure, for that high ground defense, so we can't say with 100% certainty that they would have been able to Rax. But all in all, if you're playing against Tiny, don't stand on top of each other. Because that was like, that was what, 4-man avalanche toss or something like that when they were defending the high ground?
Pretty much, yeah, the first bad fight.
And 2 heroes just instantly died. And then it's like, oh, well, now we have a 3v5 inside of the enemy's base with an Aegis on a hero who can't really run away. So... not
ideal.
Yeah.
Not ideal at all.
Wasn't great.
And the worrying thing is, they had a perfect start, Yellow Submarine. So it kind of... I mean, can they defeat Burden?
Their draft...
if they have that kind of start and then can't win off the back of it, what do they need to try and win the game?
It's just like one of those slight oversights. You don't think about it, but really... if you're just grouped up too much and the enemy team see it and their experience and they go, oh, this is our time to jump, and we catch you. And right now in this patch, stuff like that can just prevent you from ever going high ground again. And that's the problem, because Bird United had a better team for going late, not because their carries were necessarily better, but because they had more ways of playing out the late game than what I think Yellow Submarine actually had, because they had Shadow Fiend, AM, and Axe. If the AM had split pushing items, maybe it's a little bit different, but they realize that he goes full battle build. You know, he goes Vlads, he goes Vanguard, he goes Manta Style.
Yeah.
He didn't have Battle Fury, so he can't pressure lanes. He only can fight. So with that, I think Bird United just saw it and they were like, okay, yeah, we're going to play it a little slow. We'll choose our fights, and then whenever we get a bigger advantage, we can just keep going because we have so many ways of initiating. So yeah, I think Bird United might have been a little bit irked at the early game, and then once they defended, they're like, okay, we're good. We're back in it.
They were certainly back in it. And of course, it is a best of 3. So Yellow Submarine, they will be able to have another shot at taking down the side of Burden United, which we will have in Game 2 very, very shortly. First of all, though, we're going to leave you, me and Draskell. We're going to let you cut to some commercials and then over to our beautiful panel and Shiva. We'll see you in a bit.